Hi everyone, welcome back to the Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with the match preview for Newcastle United's weekend fixture down at Bramall Lane this Sunday against newly promoted Sheffield United. We're going to get stuck right into this off the back of a brilliant draw in the Champions League from the lads. 0-0 at the San Siro. We're going to go down to Bramall Lane and hope to get a second Premier League win in a row. We're going to get stuck right in, look at the lineup, how I think the game's going to go, and just talk a little bit about hopefully what the result will be for Newcastle. Just before we do, a little reminder, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I'd love to come join us. We're over 5,200 subs now, so loads of room for you. Smash that button. If you fancy becoming a member, a few of you already have. It's only $1.99 a month, so it's less than a pint of lager these days. We'll have early access to videos like the rants, match previews, etc. Going forward. Mark's got loads of goodies for you in the members lab. So smash that button, come and join us and be part of this Evermore community. So as I say, we're looking for a second Premier League win in a row after that hard-fought victory against Brentford at St James's Park last weekend, just before we travelled to the San Siro in the Champions League, through the rain and the storms and everything else, to grind out a 0-0 draw. And that's exactly what we did. We grounded out, peppered by 25 shots from AC Milan, managed to keep a clean sheet, managed to go back to St James, or back to Newcastle, that is, with a point in the bag, off the mark in the Champions League, which is absolutely fantastic. But back to Premier League action now. Obviously, the lads have had time to recuperate. I do think there'll be some changes. I think this is where we're going to have to see us roll the squad over, because we've got so much football coming in this really condensed period of time. Obviously, had AC Milan, we've got Sheffield United now, then we've got Man City in the cup, we've got Burnley, and then the big one against Paris Saint-Germain for the first home Champions League game at St James's Park in over 20 years. So how do I think we're going to line up against Sheffield United? This is how I think the lads are going to line up. So I do think there will be some changes. The core of that team will stay, because quite frankly, we haven't got enough quality to replace them with. I think Murphy started obviously on in the Champions League, but I think we'll revert back to the game. Beat Brentford. I think Harvey Barnes and Gordon either side of Callum Wilson through the middle. Isak looked really off the pace in the Milan game. I don't know what was fatigue or whatever it was, but he just didn't look quite like Alexander Isak that we all know. So I think Wilson will continue in that striking berth. The midfield, I think that the Geordie Maradona will come in. Very apt that I've got a Whitley Bay picture behind me there. Yes, the Prince of Whitley Bay himself, Elliot Anderson. I think he'll come back into the team. I thought he was brilliant when he come on against AC Milan. His energy, his courage, not scared to want the ball. You know, he sets up Longstaff for that brilliant chance where the keeper pulls off the save there, but could have been, staring down the barrel of the victory at the San Siro, which would have been unbelievable. So yeah, I think that the two Geordie boys will come in and flank Bruno in midfield. I think Toon Army will be on the bench. He didn't have a great game, I think, against Milan. He wasn't shite. There's been a lot of hysteria around about some of the main journalists kind of digging him out, I think, for his performance and saying how he was pretty ineffective. He is still learning his way in this squad. He's only played 5 games for us, so it's not time to write the lad off at all. But I think we all just need to calm down a little bit, getting a bit too hyper about this. Now, Tonali needs to grow to this team. I mean, remember when we signed Bruno, it took him ages to get into the lineup, really, with substitute appearances here and there. And then eventually it clicked and Bruno became the Bruno that we all know and love. And I think the same thing will happen with Tonali, but I would not be surprised to see the Geordie boys back in the midfield. I think with their running, the energy, I thought Sean played quite well against Milan. There's times where the level looked beyond him, in all fairness to him, but he did grow into the game, made some great lung bursts and runs, disrupted Milan's play. So I think he will retain his place in the side. And going into the back four is where I've made some changes here. I keep saying this and I keep getting proved wrong because then he keeps playing Dan Burn. But I think 3 games in a week for Dan Burn left back is a big ask for a lad in his 30s. And if you've ever seen Dan Burn in the dressing room, he seems to be held together with masking tape. So I think this might be the moment, and I hope I'm proved right. This might be the moment that Eddie Howe brings Lewis Hall in for that starting berth at left back. If not this game, definitely the game against City, maybe in the cup. But I want to see what Lewis Hall can do at left back. I think with that pace and that ability to push on and go forward as well, would give us a new dynamic. I think Botman, Shaw and Trippier will retain their places in that back four. I can't see them being dropped. I mean, Trippier was absolutely magnificent against AC Milan. What a footballer he is, and he's so integral to this team. I don't think you take him out for a Livermento or something like that. Maybe that happens in the City game in the Cup, possibly, I don't know. We'll see how serious Eddie is taking the Carabao Cup with his lineup when it comes to that game. But I think that's how the lads are going to line up in terms of this particular game. In terms of Sheffield United, they've got some real injury problems, to be fair to them. And I think the biggest thing that they're going to miss is they're missing Ollie McBurney up front, that presence for them up front. I do feel a bit sorry for Ollie McBurney. I think if anyone saw The Sheffield United manager, Paul Heckingbottom's rant about how shit referees are after the game probably gave him a massive standing ovation wherever you heard it from. He was absolutely on the money. Ollie McBurney got a second yellow card and obviously subsequently is suspended for this game because he went to the referee and said he's pulling my shirt, didn't shout at him, and he got a second yellow and his marching orders for that, which was pretty shit. And I think the referees really are letting this league go to rock and ruin, and I think decisions like that is really poor. From a Newcastle point of view, it's good for us because he's missing from the lineup at the weekend. He's obviously a very, very key player for Sheffield United, part of the reason they got promoted, part of the reason they were hoping they're going to stay in this league. So to miss him is a big issue. I think for them, they're hoping they could have John Egan back in defence, who's a strong player for them, but he'd have his work cut out for him against Callum Wilson. I think George Baldock has been struggling with a calf injury. He may be coming back into the team, but they are missing again. They're missing is it Riyad Brewster as well? I think John Fleck is still back in training. So they are missing some players, some key players for them that could have made a difference in this game. I mean, I watched them against Man City a couple of weeks back, and I actually don't think they disgraced themselves at all. To be fair, I thought they did a good job. They worked really hard, but just City's quality outshone at the end, like it does against a lot of teams. So I don't think this is going to be a rollover piece of piss game by any stretch. I think Sheffield United have to start picking up victories. They have to start getting themselves out of that position in the league. They're sitting in 17th at the moment with only 1 point on the book. So after 5 games, they've drawn 1 and lost 4. In retrospect to us, obviously we won 2, drawn 3, and lost 1. So we got a bit of a mixed bag there. We're sitting in 12th on 6 points. So Sheffield United really want to try and get something out of these games, and especially their home games. I think home games are key for them to try and stay in this division. There is rumours that potentially Sheffield United might replace Paul Heckingbottom with Chris Wilder, which I hope isn't true, because I really hope that he gets the chance to keep his job and try and keep Sheffield United in this division. Chris Wilder had that fairy tale season with Sheffield United, that one season, but lightning won't strike twice. I don't think he was brilliant at Middlesbrough. Since he's left Sheffield United, I don't think he's really, reached the dizzying heights that he was when he was at Sheffield United the first time around. And I think Heckingbottom deserves more of a chance just for that rant alone, to be honest with you. But again, all I'm interested in is Newcastle getting this result at the weekend. Let's have a look at some of the the key kind of stats in the game, and then we'll talk about what we think the result's going to be. So in the last 10 meetings versus Sheffield United in all competitions, we've won 8, and the Blades have only won 2. So you can see they're going back from 2021 right back to 1998. God, I remember that one with Alan Shearer. So it's all been very favourable in terms of the Newcastle United statistics on there. And none of the 8 meetings in the Premier League have ended in a draw. So, you can throw that out the window straight away. You're looking for a win one way or the other. I think of this one. Newcastle, 5 wins. Sheffield United, 3 wins. And Newcastle have a strong unbeaten streak against promoted sides, which is a good statistic. So 7 wins and 7 draws. And the last defeat was against Leeds back in January 2021. So the stats would appear to favour us, but football isn't played on stats, it's played on grass. I think this will be a relatively tough game for the lads, but I think our quality will shine through, and I think that starting 11 that I've just put in there, I'm going to go for a Newcastle United. Let's have a look. Let's have a think. What we're thinking. I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory for Newcastle United. That sounds like we're going to roll over, but I think it'll be tough in spells. I think Newcastle's quality will just come through in the end, and we'll win this game 3-1, giving us our 3rd win of the season, pushing us higher up the league again in more momentum and this massive month of football that we've got ahead of us as well. But let us know what you guys think in the comments below, whether you agree or disagree. Do you think we're going to win this game? Do you think it's going to be a tough one? Do you think I'm being a bit too generous on the scoreline? Let us know what you think about the lineup as well. We always like to hear from you. Drop a comment. We always do our best to try and reply. Don't know the kind of channel that ignores people. We love to engage with you. If you take time to comment, we'll take time to reply, unless you're a sad Macam hijacking our comments, which sadly has happened recently, but we will dispense of those motherfuckers very quickly. So that's me done for this preview. We'll be back with a post-match review, hopefully, off the back of another Newcastle United win and another 3 points in the Premier League as EIEIO up the Premier League we go. So have a cracking day, whatever you're doing, guys, and we'll catch you later. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Be a member if you fancy. Click the links below, and we'll catch you later on the next Evermore. See ya. Bye.